Dear Shrestha viewers, welcome back. In the last class, we were discussing about microeconomics, its definition, meaning, importance, limitations. Now we are going to see macroeconomics. Okay? So in that macroeconomics also we are going to discuss about definition and its meaning, objectives, scope, importance and limitations. So let's see each of them in detail. So we are going to deal with the definition first, as in every topic. Now we are going to discuss what is the definition and we are going to understand the meaning of macroeconomics. Okay. So we have two definitions here. I gave you two definitions. You can take any one of those and you can even follow both of those. And usually people choose which is easy, then it is this, but don't think even it is lengthy, but it is also, it actually says complete meaning about macroeconomics. So let's see. First we'll see Kenneth E. Boulding. Okay, he gave a definition. Who is he? Kenneth E. Boulding gave us a definition about macroeconomics. What is that? Macroeconomics does not deal with individual units, but it deals in large. About few of the examples he gave, that actually macroeconomics generally deals with the aggregate terms but not with the individual units. That's what he says, such as quantities, not with individual quantities but with the aggregates, and not with the individual in the crores but about national income, not about price but about a price level. A simple example I'll give you. Maybe it will match or will not match, I don't know, but to explain you what he says. Take a class of students. If we see in a microeconomic perspective, I see in a microeconomic perspective, like, is that student good in his academics or not? That is an individual unit. I am going to observe only one person in the class, whether he is understanding my topic, whether he is doing well in his exams, what is his percentage. Okay. But if you see the same class of students, and here in microeconomic perspective we are seeing individually each and every student, say like A, B, C. But in macroeconomic perspective, we don't go according to the class, but we go just according to the pass percentage. What is the pass percentage of this class? We don't go to the individual units, we go according to this class. How many people of this class? Maybe 70% of the class has scored A grade. 50% of students were good, like they are the toppers, and 50% are average. In that way we just talk aggregately but not in individually. We won't care about each and every person. Is he active in the class, is he dull in the class? We don't take care of each and every aspect when it is in the macroeconomic perspective. Whereas in the microeconomic perspective we take care of every individual, every situation, but that is opposite in macro. That's what he says. So in the same way, employment, price, cost, products, income, facilities, resources, whatever it is. If you are seeing it in a small thing, it is a microeconomic perspective. If you are talking collectively, then it is about a macroeconomic perspective. Okay, clear with that? Now, that's the same thing said by, they have the same thing. What I know is the same thing which you know. But the words and the methodology differs when you explain and when I explain. Their way of conversation or their way of understanding this microeconomics is like that. Now let's see what the Gardner actually said about macroeconomics. Okay. Macroeconomics deals with economic affairs in large. Not in small, it is in large. This one line is enough to say what is economics, macroeconomics. But to understand clearly, see how he defined everything. It's not about individual quantities but about aggregates. It's not about an individual cost, but it is about a national income, and it is not about a price, but it is about a price level. Like, I also want to give you another example about this macroeconomics is, we calculate per capita income, national income, employment. All these are the bigger terms where we calculate total number aggregates in that way. That is called macroeconomics. And what is per capita income? The average income earned by every individual. Aggregately, we calculate it by some percentages and we get that. Yes or no? All this kind of incomes, net national income, GDP, GNP, GST, whatever it is in the macroeconomic perspective, not in the microeconomic perspective. Understood? So he says macroeconomics deals with economic affairs in large, and he also says the same, but he elaborated it little clearly. Clear with both the definitions. I am again saying you whichever easy you can follow. I have explained you both, and both the definitions are before you. Please take down. So we have seen the definitions that the famous economists have gave about the macroeconomics, and I think by this you have a very few, or at least a few small idea about macroeconomics. So it is really easy concept. Like, if you are studying individual units is easy, studying in large is also in the same way. It is actually easy. We need not go, and that is now we are going to study what is objectives and scope, through which you can understand how easy it is and how important it is. Okay, so objectives. Whenever we have an aim, we frame objectives for that. Yes or no? Obviously yes. Then what is this aim and what is objectives? Now aim is macroeconomic, and the tool which we are using to get that is our resources, macroeconomic resources, or actually economic resources which we use to get the development in the country, which are following scarce, but we have to use it effectively. Okay, so what are the objectives now? What are the economic objectives or the objectives of macroeconomics? Yes, can you see something? P cube. 3 P's are there. What are those? It actually talks about principles, policies and problems. This covers the entire economy. What are the principles that one have to follow? What are the policies that already amended or have to be got or brought into the force? And what are the problems? When you know the problems, you form some principles and get some new policies in order to amend that and to solve the problems and to completely make it successful. Yes or no? So macroeconomic objectives, what are those? It is to study and make objectives about principles. It mainly studies about the principles, policies and problems of this economic and the pertaining issues, and to solve the problems and to use that economic resources effectively is what the objective says. And what is the scope now? The scope of macroeconomics means to what extent this is useful. Okay, this is not a concept or this is not a subject. This is a real practical thing which we are seeing in everyday life. Yes or no? And this macroeconomics is also called as theory of income and employment. If you are going to study this macroeconomics, only you can understand how this economy works, how this money is generated, how it is circulated, and how it is reaches to a common man, or how it reaches to the business, and how it is circulating daily, in the daily basis. And what are the new things, like also identifying the benefits which we have, and also finding out the main problems like poverty, unemployment, overpopulation, inflations, everything rises. So finding a good solution for this through policies and all. We'll get to know about this thing, like that is called scope of macroeconomics, studies about all these things in detail. That is objectives and scope of macroeconomics. So now here we are with the importance of macroeconomics now. Okay, then what is this importance now? Acts as an important tool. Whenever we want to make a survey, whenever we want to collect an important information or any important thing, we use some tools in order to find out. Yes, so that tool is macroeconomics here. So in order to find out and implement new policies and programs, these tools are really important. Using these tools, we can know what are the problems and we can find out solutions for that. That is what it says, acts as an important tool. Okay, then helps to understand complex economic problems. In microeconomics, as we told, it deals with small issues. Is that able to discuss or get the solution for the wide problem? Obviously not. Here, it helps to understand the complex issues of economy. Microeconomics is mostly about theoretical. It mainly focuses on individual units and it cannot bring a small conclusion or a basic conclusion to this big vast topic. Yes, so macroeconomics does that. And what are those problems? Like same thing what I told you, unemployment, how is this income generated, how it is followed, what is this inflation, what is this health issues and all, what is the economy facing right now, COVID. Can that microeconomics solve this? Obviously not. So like this, sharing these big economic problems we cannot be studied and in that microeconomic perspective. So this macroeconomics is helpful to study the big issues in order to get the solutions for that. Then helps in studying economic growth, not only in studying the problems but also how that economy is raising and growing day by day is also studied only in macroeconomics. A small example, when we were studying in our intermediate, the first topic in economics, in first year whatever we studied is completely about microeconomics, like theories and all. Later in second year we have came into macroeconomics, like where we studied the complete economy. So wherever it is, first we are going to study the microeconomics, then also macroeconomics, then we are going to compare the difference between that. So what were the topics in microeconomics? Law of theories, law of diminishing marginal utility, equi-marginal utility, variable proportions, price determination, monopoly, all this comes under microeconomic things. But in second year, we have studied about macroeconomics things like agriculture, industries, trading, service industries, tourism, etc. And also demographic transition, like how is the population, how it is, why it is overgrowth of population and why it is reducing now, and what is the minimum limit, how the girls marriages, child marriages, what are the new acts came into, what are the new policies. Many things we have learned in macroeconomics, that is in second year of economics. We have learned and we have seen many issues in that. And in the same way, so macroeconomics only will help us to understand the economic growth, how it is growing day by day, what are the problems we have, backward technology, then how we have to improve and how it improved, knowing its strength and how it threw its weakness back. Now that is what like helps in studying economic growth. Only macroeconomics helps us and then focuses on welfare of the society. As I told you, all these issues, women employment, women education, actually unemployment was a problem. Then what is a solution for that? Full employment. And also inflation, what are the measures for that? And many other problems like poverty, what is the solution for that? And paying taxes, if you are not paying the taxes, then that is only the problem. Rich will be rich, poor will be poor. Then there is no change. So in that way, and also giving houses, giving shelter to the poor, making them also educated, giving many more policies and programs in order to educate them and also make them aware about their rights and duties in order to stay in the society and utilize all the policies that is given by the government, etc. This is what some of the welfare programs, there are many welfare programs conducted for the welfare of the society, and this macroeconomics concentrates on that. Then helps in international comparison. Now we have many kind of things like national income, gross national income, per capita income, etc. in order to compare our growth with other countries and to know where we stand in that position and to improve ourselves. This is really important. So macroeconomics helps us in international comparison. First, to calculate our issues and how our income of a country, and then compare it with the other countries, and then see how to plan the budget, how to get the accommodation, new policies and all in order to compete with the other nations. Okay, so that are the few, these are the importance in which it covers everything. So acts as an important tool. As I told you, it is mainly studies about the policies and problems and finds out the solutions and principles also. PQ, principles, policies, programs, don't forget it. Then helps to understand complex economic issues. Microeconomics cannot understand, only macroeconomics can understand what are the issues pertaining in the society. And then helps in studying economic growth, not only the problems, how to get a solution and how to grow in the nation and how it has grown. Now what is a position? It is not at all in the underdeveloped stage, it is in the developing stage. At least we have to appreciate that, and it is going on growing still, and now it goes to the developed because vaccine already came, that is our credit to India itself, we made that, and through this we will go to the top levels now. Okay, then focuses on welfare of the society. This is how it created a welfare, and then also many welfare programs, and then helps in international comparison and taking all the sources of our country and comparing it with other countries so that to improve and develop with equal to another nations is what are the few of the importance of macroeconomics. Now let's see the limitations. So we are coming to the final topic called limitations of macroeconomics. You have understood what is importance, and you can easily able to estimate what is the limitations of this topic. Then tell me fastly what are the limitations. Leave these points aside. Simply to say, whatever it is, which cannot done by macroeconomics is its limitations. So as we all know, in a nuclear family, it is easy to produce all the services, all the facilities to only the 4 members. They can enjoy all the facilities easily. But if in the same family there exist 40 people and 40 people should be available, and all the facilities, all the resources, all the luxuries should be provided to all the 40 people, is it possible? So that is what. It is a macroeconomic issue now. In the same way, the first point tells extreme generalization of individual experience to entire system. It is like complete like a paradigm shift. So we were talking about individual issues. Yes, it is issues of many people. So aggregately we are seeing it as unemployment. But here each individual is facing that employment problem. Yes. So to give employment to one individual, allotting employment is easy, but thousands and crores of people need an employment. Then is it easy to produce in that point of time? It is not at all easy. Then solving small issues and solving those issues in a large manner, it differs a lot. So that is what called as paradigm shift. Suddenly you are in the small world, you are jumping directly from a small pond to a big ocean. How it is? Can you just imagine? So that is the main and the great limitation of macroeconomics. Suddenly that generalizations shifted from individual experience to the entire system. So that is one of the limitation. and then excessive emphasis on aggregates. As we know, macroeconomics deals with the aggregate terms, big terms. It doesn't see small issues. It sees in a large sense. So if you are showing each and every emphasis on this aggregates, how much is needed, how much is want, how much we want, how much can we produce, aggregately if you are seeing, then you will not have idea. If you want to see everything aggregately, is it sufficient? Whenever it is sufficient, you can see it in aggregate sense. But when it is insufficient, it is falling scarce, then you can't imagine in that way. So if you are putting that burden, you want to see everything in aggregate, then it is little tough. And then also that is the same thing, like aggregates may not affect all the sectors in a similar manner. You can know we have many sectors, like 3 sectors mainly: primary, secondary, tertiary. What is primary? Agriculture. And secondary is industry. Tertiary is service sector. What all includes in primary sector? Agriculture means only pesticides, grains, soil, fertilizers, etc. Is that the same thing? No, it involves many other things. Aggregates, it can be, can it provide sufficiently to all the sectors equally? No. So, aggregates may not affect in the same way. Like it differs from situation, it differs from one perspective to other. In primary sector, we need some kind of resources. In secondary, we need some kind of resources. In tertiary, we need other kind of resources. So maybe we have sufficient and efficient resources for primary and little less for secondary, but not at all for tertiary. So how it is? It became that it is not affecting all the sectors in a similar way. So it's like that. And concept of aggregates results in human perception. So whatever the policies, whatever the acts, whatever the principles are framed by human being only at the last. Now if he is only willing to make the policies and getting into implementation, only then we will have all the benefits. Yes, until he works on that, we don't have any other option. So all these aggregates, concepts, everything rely on us. If I am willing to bring this policy to facilitate, to improve the condition of the individuals or the society living in my country, then I feel responsible and I make new policies to make my country better and best. But if I am not thinking about the entire country, I am just thinking about my own profits and just calculating what are the profits and losses up to me only, then that's not at all a development. Are you understanding? Will you agree with it? Obviously not. So it depends upon the individual perception, and if when they think only it is possible, that is one of the major drawback. And then measurements of aggregates may lead to critical problems. For each and everything, if you measure, is this enough, is this too much, is it is falling in scarce, this is not enough. If the government has allotted a particular money, say about 10 lakhs to a welfare thing, then you should at least able to calculate in what level you can fetch. Your ideas are at top level and the amount is not helping you, then get down to the level where the amount is, and to make small developments, slowly it reaches there. And if you are measuring that with this, and there exist the problems. Okay, so we should plan accordingly and we have to get out the solutions. So measuring each and every aggregate, each and every concept, each and everything is not that good or beneficial. So these are the disadvantages or limitations that is given for macroeconomics. That is extreme generalization from individual experience. With my experience doesn't have any connection with your experience. My experience is different, your experience is different. From individual it is going to the whole system. So suddenly stop thinking about the individual and think about the whole system. It is really will go out of our mind. So that is really difficult. Yes. So that's what it says. And excessive emphasis on aggregates, and then aggregates may not affect all the sectors in the similar. What are the sectors? Primary, secondary, tertiary. Primary is agriculture, secondary is industry, and third one is tertiary, which includes all kind of services, banking, industry, trading and tourism, etc., etc. And then Concept of aggregates results in human perception. Like if I am willing to do, then only it is possible. And like that everyone should be willing to do. And if it is not done like that, then it is waste. And then measurements of aggregates may lead to critical problems, as I told you. I explained you, right? What are the measurements, how we have to analyze and plan the budget or plan the amount in the correct way to solve our problems and use it effectively. So these are the limitations. I hope you are clear with this macroeconomics. So let's get a small review, like we'll revive the section. What we discussed today from starting. Definition, its meaning, objective, scope, its importance and limitations. 6 topics we covered it today. Are you clear? Any doubts? Don't forget to comment in the session below, and I will be there to answer your doubts in next coming section. Okay? So keep continue watching my videos. I hope it's helpful. If it is relevant, then kindly like, share and subscribe, and stay tuned to Shrestha. Thank you.